So hello students, a very good afternoon to all and welcome back to Daily Newspaper Analysis. Today is 20th of May. So for today, we have these many articles. Today we shall be discussing 5 important articles from The Hindu as well as Indian Express. The first article is very important related to recent judgment of Supreme Court on the UAPA bail restrictions. So here we shall be discussing about UAPA Act. Second important article is related to recent notice which was issued by National Commission for Scheduled Caste to the Punjab Census Office. So we shall be discussing what was the reason and basic points about National Commission for Scheduled Caste. Next important mission is the SMILE mission. So this article will be very important from science and technology point of view. So this article I took from Indian Express. So we shall be discussing what all agencies are involved in this and what will be the main objective of this mission. Next article is also very important. UPSC can directly ask about this term, that what is Zwan-Wolf effect. So this also we shall be discussing in detail. And finally, a very interesting but very important article, especially for GS paper 2 from governance perspective. So here we shall be discussing the recent ongoing concept of Cockroach Janta Party. So we shall be discussing what this party is, what was the reason, and how it will be significant for our paper. That means how you can use in your exams. Okay. So our recent article is related to Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. So before understanding the complete news, let's discuss all the phases which are happening whenever a person is arrested and whenever the trial gets completed. Between all these things, what all phases are involved, because when we will understand these phases, we can easily understand about this Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, bail provisions. So first of all, let's discuss all the phases which are involved after a person gets arrested by the police. So see, let's understand. First of all, based on some allegations, maybe a person got arrested by the police. Now, after the person got arrested, what will happen? Investigation will be started by police officers. After the investigation is completed, what will happen? Yes. So after investigation got completed by the police officers, what will happen? Finally, a charge sheet will be filed. Charge sheet will be filed which will carry what were the allegations and what were the evidences which were found by the police, etc., etc. And after charge sheet is filed, trials will start in courts, in a district court, Supreme Court, High Court, anywhere. After charge sheet is filed, trials will start, and trials will decide whether the person will be set free or whether any punishment will be given to any person. So this is the complete process under any criminal law, that whenever a person gets arrested, all these things will be happening, and every person has the right to speedy trial. Trial will decide the fate of that person. Now, since all these things are happening, so we can easily say that right to speedy trial is a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution. Because Article 21 says, right to life says that every person has right to speedy trial. That means whenever any person gets arrested, all these things must be happening in the speedy manner so that trial can be started very early. So everything is part of right to speedy trial for any person under Article 21. So basically, this is following the principle that when courts has said that bail is a norm and bail is not an exception. So basically, Supreme Court has already earlier said that whenever a person gets arrested, so each and every person has a right to speedy trial under Article 21. And till the time the person is not convicted, or till the time when the person is not proven guilty, each and every person has the right to get bail. Until and unless there are special circumstances. Otherwise, every person can get bail because still the crime is not proven or still the person is not proven guilty. So I will repeat again, court has already said that bail must be used as a norm and bail must not be used as an exception. Because if you have just arrested the person based on some allegations and you have not proven that person guilty, you don't have any right to put that person in the jail or put that person in the prison for prolonged period of time. Why? Because each and every person in this country, each and every citizen of India has the right to speedy trial, has the right to speedy trial, which will decide the fate of that person, whether the person will be set free or whether the punishment will be given. Now, if we talk about a special provision, and that provision is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. So all these things which I have discussed here, no, that every person has the right to speedy trial, every person must be given bail, and no person must be put in the prison or jail without for unnecessary things, and if that person is not proven guilty, all these things will not be applicable under UAPA Act, that is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. So every exception will be present under this act. Why? Because UAPA Act is an important anti-terrorism act of India. So what is its main purpose? Its main purpose to ensure safety and security of citizens of this country. So basically, this act is mainly focusing on the national security. So all these things which we have discussed till now, these things are applicable under normal criminal laws of India. But whenever we are talking about UAPA Act, so all these things are not applicable. So if I am saying all these things are not applicable, the meaning of this is, see, earlier Supreme Court has said that bail is a norm and bail is not an exception. Bail can be given if no special circumstances are there. But if you talk about UAPA Act, then here bail can easily be denied. This is the difference between normal criminal laws of India and UAPA Act. So whenever a person asks for bail and if that person is arrested under UAPA Act, then bail can be easily denied. So here bail will not be a norm. Here bail will be an exception. Now, specifically, if I talk about Section 43D, Section 43D of this act. So here Section 43D says that here bail can be denied if even allegations appear true prima facie. Meaning of that is, even though the crime is not proven, even though the person is not proven guilty at present, but even if at superficially level it seems that allegations are true, then under UAPA Act bail can be denied. So this was an important section, that is Section 43D of UAPA Act. Now, earlier, since this thing has already been mentioned under UAPA Act, so for past few years, Supreme Court has denied bail to many persons under this section, because since those persons were arrested under UAPA Act, hence Supreme Court said that bail can be denied and hence trial can be delayed. But now a bench of Supreme Court has reversed its judgment. You cannot say reversed, but there were some changes in the judgment. What were those changes? Those changes were that it's true that under UAPA Act you can deny the bail, but it's not like that you will keep on delaying that, you can keep on delaying the trial for unlimited period of time. That means, see, in India, what is the condition of prisons in India? At present, many people are there in prisons for whom the trials are not even started, or for whom the trials are going since past 7 years or 10 years. So Supreme Court is saying that although the crime is not proven, and we know that under UAP Act you can deny the bail, but you cannot keep the person in jail or prison for prolonged period of time. That means you have to do the investigation, you have to file the charge sheet, and you have to start the trial. Because if all these kind of persons are also there in the prison, then it will lead to overcrowding of prison. So in prison, technically, who all must be there in the prison? For whom the crime is proven, for the person who are proven guilty. But many persons are there in the prison for whom trial have not even been started, or trial is going on for past 7 or 10 years. So basically, this is a violation of their right to life under Article 21. Because if the crime is not proven, then how you can put them in jail for prolonged period of time? So this was the overall thing, that earlier a bench of Supreme Court has denied the bail for many cases, but now Supreme Court has said that though UAPA provision talks about that, but you cannot put a particular person in jail for prolonged period of time. So that's why recently what happened, that Delhi police have asked for a clarification, because Delhi police has said that earlier Supreme Court has denied bail in many situations, but now a similar bench of Supreme Court is denying that judgment. So we want a concrete position on that. Okay, so I think we discussed important things about this. Okay. Now our next important article is related to National Commission for Scheduled Caste, and recently National Commission of Scheduled Caste have issued notice to Punjab Census Office. Now first of all, tell me, can there be a situation like earlier some of the words which were used under the official record? So earlier what happened, so can you tell me, can there be a situation that earlier few words which were used for the identification of particular community in the official records, now those words are considered as socially derogatory, or those words are used as a slang in normal language? So can there be a situation? So here the answer is yes. Answer is yes, because earlier some of the terms which were used just for the identification of communities, particular community in India, now those words are considered as socially derogatory. And this is the complete news. So what is the news? News is recently various Dalit organizations in Punjab have submitted the objection. Objection to what? They have submitted objection to various caste names which are used in the census forms by the Punjab Census Office. So that's why National Commission for Scheduled Caste have to act. So I will repeat what happened recently. Recently, various Dalit organizations in Punjab have objected to various kind of caste names which are used in the official records by the Punjab Census Office. So this is the overall issue, and that's why National Commission for Scheduled Caste have to issue the notice to the census office. Now, why people are saying this? Because people consider all these words as violation of their fundamental rights under Article 14, that is right to equality, under Article 17, that is right against untouchability. Because if particular words which are related to some communities, if they are used in a derogatory form, or if they are used as a slang by some people, then it might lead to untouchability also in the society. That's why it is also against Article 17 of the Constitution. And more importantly, all these things are violation against right to dignity, or right to live life with dignity, or right to life. That's why according to people, all these things are violation of their fundamental rights, and that's why National Commission of Scheduled Caste had to take actions. Now, why National Commission of Scheduled Caste can take action? Because this, just a second. Yes. So why this commission can take action? Because this commission is a constitutional body under Article 338 of the Constitution. And this is a constitutional body, and it has many civil rights. Civil rights related to what? Sorry, it has many civil powers, and it can use the civil powers to protect the rights of various people under the scheduled caste community. Second important thing is it can investigate all the matters which are related to scheduled caste people in the country. That's why National Commission for Scheduled Caste have issued notice to the Punjab Census Office. Now, let's discuss that why these caste names are important. Because as we already discussed, that these caste names were earlier already present in the official records, now they are considered as derogatory. So why on the first place that these caste names were used? Important reason for that is, if we are using different caste names, then it will be easy for the government to plan for the various welfare, to plan for various welfare schemes, or to plan for various reservation benefits. So these caste names are used just for the identification of the communities. So here government is saying that we are using all these names just for the identification. and there is no intention of the government to use any derogatory word against any community. So this was the overall thing. So yes, since here we are talking about National Commission for Scheduled Caste, so one important thing is that earlier this commission used to take up the issues of scheduled tribes also. Then after a particular constitutional amendment act, their functions got distributed. So tell me this answer in the comment section, that under which constitutional amendment act National Commission for Scheduled Caste and National Commission for Scheduled Tribes got separated, or they became separate entities, and National Commission for Scheduled Caste comes under which article of the constitution? So tell me all these things in comment section. Now let's look for the news. So here, this we have already discussed, that National Commission for Scheduled Caste have issued notice to the Punjab Census Office. Now, who submitted this request? So mainly this request was submitted by the National Commission for Safai Karmachari. So it's very important for us to know about the basic things of National Commission for Safai Karmachari. So if we are talking about any institution, first of all, please know that whether it is constitutional body, it is statutory body, or it is non-constitutional body. So first important thing is that National Commission for Safai Karmachari is a non-statutory body. Very, very important. This is a non-statutory body. National Commission for Safai Karmachari is a non-statutory body. Now, under which act it was formed? It was formed under National Commission for Safai Karmachari Act 1993. So earlier it was a statutory body, but then the status was changed, and in 2004 it became a non-statutory body under Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So please remember, earlier it used to be a statutory body. Then in 2004 the status changed to non-statutory body. Now, if we talk about the structure, so in its structure, it has chairperson, vice chairperson, as well as 5 members. So if we revise, it has chairperson, it has vice chairperson, and it has 5 members. So mainly in total, it has 7 members, and in those 5 members, one woman must be present. So if we talk about the mandate or functioning, so it is very normal. What will be its functions? Basically, it will recommend the policies for the welfare of the Safai Karmacharis. It will monitor the implementation of various schemes which are launched for the Safai Karmacharis, etc., etc. Okay, so this was the complete issue. Now, a very important article. This article is related to Smile Mission. Okay, so first of all, let's understand the background, that why this Smile Mission was launched, what is the objective for that. Then we shall discuss other important points in news. So see, if we talk about sun, so sun is not important just for the heat and light. As you know that for human beings, sun is very important for heat and light. But heat and light are not the only two things for which we will discuss about the sun. Because sun also emits harmful solar particles. Sun emits harmful solar particles, and these solar particles can reach the earth and they can destroy life on the earth. So this is a fact, that if we talk about the sun, so sun sends harmful solar particles towards the earth. This is a fact. But now, if sun is sending harmful solar particles towards the earth, then why life on the earth is not getting destroyed? Why life is not getting destroyed, or why satellites are not being destructed, or why the communication systems are destroyed? What is the reason for that? Because these solar particles have the complete potential to destroy all these things. So answer for this is, everything is protected on the earth because of a natural protection shield. And what is that natural protection shield? That is the magnetosphere of the earth. Magnetosphere of the earth. So this is the natural protection shield. So if we talk about the magnetosphere, so basically, see, if this the earth, no, so these are the magnetic lines of force. These are the magnetic lines of force. This is magnetosphere of the earth. So whenever these solar particles reach the earth's magnetosphere, they will get deviated, or they will get absorbed, so that each and everything on the earth remains protected. So we are talking about this natural protection shield, that is magnetosphere, which protects the earth. Now let's discuss what will happen if all these things are not present, if the magnetosphere was not present. So first of all, what will happen? We already discussed that first of all, it will destroy complete life on the earth. Second thing, it will disrupt the satellites functioning on the earth. How it will disrupt? See, for example, the GPS system or the Navig system which we are using. So GPS system uses satellites only. So if satellite gets disrupted, GPS will get disrupted, and hence the complete navigation system will get disrupted. So the flights, the navigation of flights, the navigation of various defense systems will get disrupted. Next thing, it will also impact the power grids. Also, it will impact the internet connectivity. Internet connectivity. So this is the overall importance of the magnetosphere of Earth. So this magnetosphere protects Earth from harmful solar radiations. So how these solar radiations reach through Earth? These solar radiations comes in the form of solar wind, or they come in the form of coronal mass ejection, and hence they can destroy each and everything on the Earth. But how Earth is protected? Earth is protected through magnetosphere. Now here comes the important thing, and that is the news. So here comes the role of recently launched SMILE mission. So SMILE mission is launched in this context. So first of all, let's discuss the full form. So what is full form? SMILE mission means Solar Wind Magnetosphere Ionosphere Link Explorer. And who launched this mission? This is very important for the exam. So SMILE mission is launched by China as well as European Space Agency. What is the full form? Full form is Solar Wind Magnetosphere Ionosphere Link Explorer. Who launched this mission? It was launched by China and European Space Agency. So now, since I discussed that this under this context, this mission was launched. So let's know the complete objective. What is the objective of this mission? So basically, the objective of this mission is to create an X-ray image. X-ray image of what? X-ray image of how Earth magnetosphere interact with the solar particles which are coming from the sun surface. So see, as you know that we know that magnetic field exists around the earth. We have a magnetosphere, but you cannot see magnetosphere, right? So here the main objective of this mission is to create an X-ray image, so that you can have a visible idea that how magnetosphere of the earth interact when solar particles try to interact with the magnetic field. So this is the overall objective of this SMILE mission. Now, let's discuss the significance of this mission, that why we are doing all these things. Okay, objective we understood, that objective is to create an X-ray image of the interaction between magnetosphere of the earth as well as solar particles. What will be significance of this? See, this will act as a early warning system. It will act as a early warning system, and if we have the early warning, if we have the knowledge prior about the solar particles or coronal mass ejections, then we can take immediate steps to save our satellites or to save our astronauts who are in the space. So that's why all these things are very important. So if we talk about exam perspective, so what is important? First thing is, what is the full form? Second thing, who launched this mission? Third important thing, that what is the objective of this mission? And finally, what will be the significance of this? Okay. Now here a very important article, and this article is related to previous article only. So in previous article we discussed about magnetosphere, about the Earth's magnetic field, right? So this article is also related to the Earth's magnetic field only. So see, these type of things are very important for the exam. Why? Because UPSC can directly ask that the term Zwan-Wolf effect was recently in news. It is related to what, or it was in news in what context? So that's why we will understand briefly, we will not go into the technicalities. So yes, let's discuss about the Zwan-Wolf effect. See, yes, Zwan-Wolf effect. So now, first of all, tell me that if we compare Earth and other planets, for example, Mars, so if I ask you the question that what is the reason that Earth is full of life, but Mars is cold and lifeless, or Earth has complete atmosphere, but Mars has negligible or very thin atmosphere. So what is the reason for that? See, one of the important reasons we already discussed in the previous article. What was the reason for that? Because Earth has very strong magnetic field. So because of the very strong magnetic field, Earth's magnetic lines of force can easily deviate solar particles, and hence life on the Earth exists, or atmosphere on the Earth exists. And, okay, so and earlier this was and the if we talk about the overall atmosphere on the Mars, so since Mars does not have any magnetic field, Mars does not have any magnetosphere, that's why life does not exist on Mars, and that's why atmosphere is also very thin or negligible on the Mars. Now, let's understand, but here we will be understanding in detail that how Earth's magnetosphere interact with the solar particles. So see what will happen. See, let me make the Earth's magnetic field. Okay, so consider this is Earth's magnetic field. Okay, now what will happen that, for example, this is a solar wind, and solar particles through solar wind are trying to interact with the Earth's magnetic field. Now, what these magnetic lines of force will do, these magnetic lines of force will squeeze these solar particles. So you can consider in this way, for example, this is a toothpaste, and you are trying to squeeze you are trying to squeeze that toothpaste through a narrow pipe. So you can consider the similar way here, that whenever solar particles are trying to interact with magnetic lines of force, so these magnetic lines of force will try to squeeze these solar particles, and when these solar particles are squeezed, they can easily be deviated from the Earth's atmosphere. So this is how Earth's magnetosphere or Earth's magnetic field protect Earth from harmful solar winds, and this effect is only known as Zwan-Wolf attack, Zwan-Wolf effect. So what is the Zwan-Wolf attack? Zwan-Wolf effect. This means whenever the magnetic lines of force squeeze the charged particles which are coming from the solar wind, this squeezing effect is known as Zwan-Wolf effect. So you can understand through a toothpaste analogy that whenever you are squeezing the toothpaste through a narrow pipe, similarly solar charged particles can be squeezed through magnetic lines of force so that they can be deviated from the Earth's atmosphere. So this effect is known as Zwan-Wolf effect. Now, what is the significance of this finding? So here, see, Zwan-Wolf effect can only appear when there is a magnetic field on any planet. So since Earth has very strong magnetic field, that means this effect can happen here. But according to a recent finding, this effect was seen on the Mars also. So this is very important, because just now we discussed that Mars do not have any atmosphere. What is the reason? Because atmosphere got destroyed because of the solar wind, because there was no magnetosphere to protect the atmosphere of Mars. But recently it was observed by the scientists that this effect was seen on the Mars also. That's why this is very important. Now, how this discovery will help us? What is the significance? See, this will help us to know that how the overall atmosphere of the Mars changed over a period of time. That means how the atmosphere of Mars evolved, because maybe earlier there was atmosphere, but over a period of time, because since there was no protection shield, so solar winds destroyed the atmosphere of Mars. So that's why this discovery is significant. And why it is more significant? Because if in future astronauts from India or from any other country, if they go to Mars someday, so this discovery will help us to understand that how solar radiation becomes extremely important. So it will help us to it will help us to experiment that how human life can be affected on the Mars. So these are the important concepts. Now, yes, so now we have a very interesting article, and that article is about the Cockroach Janta Party movement. So here, see, we shall not be going into the political details, but at least we shall be discussing that how these kind of concepts or these kind of articles you can use in your mains exam. Okay, so let's start our discussion related to this about the theme. So see, first of all, tell me that what will happen when youth of any country, they feel ignored, or they feel frustrated, or they feel insulted by the system which is existing in the country. So what will happen when all these young people feel ignored? See, whenever people feel ignored in any country, they will try to protest, right? But whenever we talk about the young people, so they will try to protest, but maybe it will not be a physical protest, or maybe it will not be a physical form of protest. So mostly nowadays, youth of any country is trying to protest through social media movements. Okay, so here many youths in countries are trying to protest through social media movements, through satirical comedy, or through memes. So this is the way in which nowadays youth in any country is trying to protest against the government authorities. And that is how the recently viral Cockroach Janta Party came into existence, or that is how this Cockroach Janta Party became very famous. Now, if we discuss about this background, that what was the reason under which this particular party was formed? So the reason was this particular movement emerged after the controversial remarks. These controversial remarks were allegedly made by the Chief Justice of India. So here the remarks were made related to the unemployed lawyers, RTI activists, etc., etc. So it was reported that in these remarks which were made by the Chief Justice of India, terms like cockroaches or terms like parasites were used. And these terms are because of the use of these terms, the complete outrage happened. This was the main reason. Now, it is very important for you to know that why all these kind of movements are becoming famous no very fast, or why they are becoming viral. There must be some reason, right? No, it's not just about the satire, it's not just about the comedy. A very deep underlying reason is there. So if I ask you the question that why such kind of movements become very famous quickly, or why they become viral, so the reason is that young people in any country gets connected emotionally to these kind of satires or to these kind of movements. Why? Because if especially if we talk about India or any developing country, so already people are feeling the pressure of unemployment, right? People are already feeling, students are already feeling the pressure of exam stress or institutional frustration, because recently only NEET UG paper leak controversy happened, right? So already people are frustrated, already people have anger on the government institutions. So that's why people, especially young people, easily get connected to all these kinds of social media movement. Now, if we talk about the satire as a method to protest, so why satire is becoming more and more powerful nowadays? So see, main reason is that satire uses humor. Satire uses humor to criticize the powerful institutions. So at the superficial level, people will laugh, but the underlying issue will be very, very serious. So satire, humor, comedy, nowadays, these are some kind of powerful methods through which you can raise your voice. So through which you can raise your voice against government. And it's not like this was the first instance where these kind of social media movements are becoming viral, or they are started. So reason is, see, earlier also many big movements, they first started online only. So for example, if I talk you about the Arab Spring, so Arab Spring also started online. If we talk about the climate activism by Greta Thunberg, so it was also started online. Very important, if we talk about the online student campaigns, so all these things also mostly start from the social media platforms. Do you remember about the what we say, ssc exam controversy? I think it happened in 2017 or 18. So there students started a very powerful campaign through Twitter, and after that only the results were released, and after that only SSC got regularized. So this is a power of social media. So if we talk about the overall relevance for the exam, so whenever you have any question related to the power of social media, or whenever you are discussing anything about social media, you can use this Cockroach Janta Party example as a very good case study or very good example. Next, whenever you are writing about any answer related to governance under GS paper 2, then also you can write that this is how the youth of any country try to show their protest or try to show their frustration against the government authorities. Now quickly discuss that whenever anything happens, there will be the criticism also, and there will be positives also. So here, critics are saying that since judiciary or judicial institutions are very respected institutions, so they must not become the target of mockery. So basically, critics are saying that any satire must not reduce the institutional respect. But here, there will be defenders, because the Cockroach Janta Party is formed because of that only. So here, the counter is that whenever we are using satire or humor to protest against the government, it is completely within our freedom of speech and expression. So it is completely within our fundamental right, which is provided under Article 19 of the Constitution. So you cannot say that this is, see, everything at present in this world is in gray area. So nothing is completely right or nothing is completely wrong. But yes, and this is will be an example, this will be a learning for you, that whenever you read about any topic, even though if it seems completely wrong for you, or even though it seems completely correct for you, then also you must have an idea about both sides of any topic. Okay, so I think we discussed all the important topics for today. So yes, a practice question for you. So the question is, the SMILE mission recently seen in the news is primarily associated with. So first option is detecting gravitational waves in deep space. Next is studying the interaction between solar wind and Earth's magnetosphere. Next is exploring subsurface oceans on Europa. And finally, monitoring greenhouse gases in Earth's atmosphere. So since we discussed in detail about SMILE mission, so try to give answer of this question in the comment section. Okay, so I think that's all from my side for today. Thank you and have a nice day.